Hey everybody, welcome back to Garfield of the Week. Hope you're having a great Sunday. Sundays are my favorite day of the week. I hope they're your favorite day of the week too. Garfield comes out. We get a long-form Garfield, long-running Garfield. It's great. Jim Davis shines his light on the world yet again. And this Sunday is no different from the previous Sundays. And today's Garfield comic is a really, really good one. I know I say that every week, but this one connects with me. It's all about coffee. I love coffee. I'm sure that you do too. I know that most of the world loves coffee. Matter of fact, got a piping hot French press full of the stuff right here. Fuck you, piece of shit. Fucking A. But where does coffee come from? How is it made? Who invented it? Well, I'm here to tell you that story before the Garfield comic, so hang tight and we'll learn about coffee together. The year is 1776. Colonies are on the verge of revolution, but also bankruptcy. The cause of this monetary deficit? Tea. The monarchy of England imposed great taxes on the common leaves, burdening the labors of these new countrymen. "This shit is too expensive," said George Washington. "Yes, I know," said Benjamin Franklin. "Let's throw it in the ocean," supposed James Adamson. "We'll call it a party," quipped Andrew Jackson. "A tea party," gasped George Washington, and all the other dads agreed. So from there, they set, and they did throw all of the tea into the ocean because it was too expensive. "This shit is too expensive," they wrote to the King of England. "Lol, you buy it though," said the king. "I'm sick of being your plug. You will have to find your buzz from someone else, fam." The founding fathers knew not what to do. Without a stimulant to start the day, the commoners would riot. "Let's ask Mexico," said Benjamin Franklin. Benjamin Franklin went to Mexico with his ladyboy consorts and discovered coffee from our friends south of the Texas. "We got this stuff from the Middle East, some wacky Yemens. They love the stuff. So do we. You can have it. It's cheap. Want to try our food yet?" said the Mexicans. "No thanks. But if you could come back in 300 years with taquitos, we will welcome you with open arms, and certainly not attempt to build a wall to keep you from a better life which we would always have advertised," said Benjamin. "Okay," said the Mexicans. So Benjamin French Pressington brought coffee back with his ladyboys to the colonies, and the rest is history. We all enjoy a piping hot brew in the morning, and if you don't, you're unpatriotic. Okay, so back to the comic. First of all, I'm gonna give you guys a huge close-up on this throwaway panel, because Odie is acting a little unwise, if you catch my drift. He saw that turkussy and he just couldn't help himself, I guess. And Garfield is nonplussed by Odie's apparent horniness. I don't know what the message is on this throwaway panel, but it's just that turkussy got Odie acting unwise. That's all I can say. So, but it also, denotes that Thanksgiving is coming. Thanksgiving is on the way. Probably Garfield's favorite holiday. It's one of my favorite holidays. But I'm not going to be doing that to the turkey this year. Maybe next year. The first panel opens up, and John's got a percolator, like an old-fashioned coffee percolator. And he says, "Coffee, Garfield?" And Garfield says, "No thanks, I made my own." And he's got the cup, and then he tilts the cup. I'm not going to do it because it's full of coffee. I'll spill it all over my goddamn bed. He tilts the coffee upside down, and it's just a giant, like, black drop of tar. And it, over the next 4 panels, it just slowly creeps out of the coffee cup, much like that weird tar experiment that they're doing at MIT or whatever. You know what I'm talking about. And in the last panel, the drop of tar coffee, which I'm assuming is just heavily concentrated coffee, because Garfield is a coffee addict. I mean, he drinks coffee all the time. Interestingly, this is the first Garfield of the week that's involved coffee. A small surprise to me, what with the length of this project and everything. Okay, so Garfield drinks the coffee, which is highly concentrated coffee, and it lands on his tongue. He swallows it. He absorbs the coffee. The coffee is in his body, and it works like that. In the last panel, John just says, "You're a piece of work." And Garfield's got crazy eyes. He's freaking out. He's got a big smile. His one pupil is dilated. The other one is the reverse of being dilated. And he just says, "Let's go mountain climbing." And then the comic ends. And we are left to wonder what Garfield did with the rest of his... Did he go mountain climbing? What is he going to do with the rest of his energy for the rest of the day? Probably going to kick Odie off of a table and then crash and then take a nap. Who knows? That's up to your imagination to decide. Part of the gifts of Jim Davis is that he's very good at, leaving some stones unturned and kind of letting the viewer or the reader or the listener or the enjoyer, the fan or the love interest or the slave or even the prisoner of his Garfield comics to come up with their own conclusions. And I've said it before, but I'll say it again. Jim Davis is a brave creator, and I'm proud of him for this comic. So, hey, I hope you have a great Sunday. Please like and subscribe if you want more Garfield comics being read to you. You could just read them yourself, I guess, but that sounds like a lot of work. And if you're a good Garfield fan, you do as little work as possible.